by the question, I guess? Is it in terms of like racism or stereotyping?
Just in terms of anything, I guess. When you come to America, who has it the worst? I guess you can say. I guess yeah, you could say stereotypes. Who stereotypes the worst, or expectations are stereotypes.
I can't really say that one race has it the most, has stuff going on the worst with their culture. I think that's based on your opinion. But I think post 9/11, you didn't see that many of stereotypes about Arabs being terrorists until after 9/11. So before that, I think black people had it the worst. Like, you can go back to old Looney Tune commercials, old Looney Tune cartoons. You can see that the stereotypical big woman feeding her kids watermelon and fried chicken. So I think before that, before post 9/11, African Americans had, I mean African Americans, but black people had it like the worst. And I still think that we still overcoming those stereotypes. Like when we walk in the store, you get followed and stuff like that. You get on an elevator with somebody, they hold their purse as soon as you get on an elevator with them. So I don't know.
Well, when it comes to stereotype, I think sometimes we should think maybe in another way. Like sometimes I just think the mass media should be partly responsible for this, because I'm studying in the Department of Communication, so we're required to do some research, and then I just found a very shocking a report like. In 2002, among all the more than 600 reports, news release something in America, all the news covering in China, and then more than 500 are kind of a negative reports. So this is really kind of shocking, pretty shocking to me, because personally I do love America. I like American people. Although I just arrived here this semester, I think people here are really very open, nice, and friendly. Yes, they are. But when it comes to the stereotype, I don't believe people, ordinary people. I think the media reports sometimes are really kind of they just go to extreme, like. A lot of news from CNN, YouTube is blocked in China, and then why not China punish South Korea because they, the nuclear weapons and thing. But I think this is just sometimes it's no good. And actually in China, and I have to be objective, because before I came here, we seldom watch so much negative news about America. So sometimes I think it's really kind of an unfair. Yes, and that's what I want to share with you.
Thank you for that. Is there something you want to share?
For what culture I think has the worst, I would honestly say probably the religion does. But I don't think it's really fair, because when they showed the picture of a girl and she was Muslim and she was dressed in traditional Muslim attire. I think a lot of people, if they were going to the airport and they were dressed in traditional Muslim attire, would receive the same treatment because of terrorist attacks and things that were happening in the name of Muslim religion, which put emphasis on that. But at the same time, most Middle Easterns you would assume are Muslim, even though they're not all Muslim. So I think that they do have the worst, but it's more of a religion thing that is emphasis on, but I think it's all involved into it, just Middle Eastern.
The person in the back, was she saying that the media portrays minorities badly? Was she saying that? Was she saying that? What was she saying?
So much negative news.
Oh, okay, because I was gonna agree with that statement because, in general, I think whenever they show minorities on TV, when something has to do with a crime, they show a minority face, whether that's black or Hispanic, all the time in the news and, that's the media, as the media in general. So I think that, they always portray minorities in a bad way. The media does.
All right. Also, I just kind of want to add another question on who are, oh, well,
I just wanted to say that I'm from Dubai, United Arab Emirates, though I'm an Indian. But whenever I go to the airport, I have this boarding pass in which they always put a special check-in for me. So I always have to go through that special check-in just because I'm from an Arab country. So I don't know, I think they're just kind of terrorized by the entire Arab world by itself, or probably that area, Middle East and something. As well as my mom, she was in Chicago, and when she was actually going, she knew that her flight is gonna be, she was anyways late, and it was like the people already knew that she's gonna miss her flight, and still they kept checking her like every 5 minutes, and they were like, because she was wearing a typical Indian dress, and that is actually kind of more of Pakistani traditional dress. She was wearing that kind of a dress, and those people were actually going on checking her out, and she missed her flight, and she had to just take it the next day. So those, I mean, it's kind of annoying when they actually keep checking you every time. So yeah.
okay. We do actually have a point about that, but I'm going to get first.
I'm not going to get into the debate about who's treated the worst, but I will say that the anti-Arab bias in American media and American society didn't start with 9/11. If you go back before that, I mean, that just gave it a new wind. But the oil embargo in 1974 was when you started, right after that was when you started to see the really large numbers of anti-Arab stereotypes in American media. There was, I have the advantage of being old and actually remembering this, and there was an intense reaction in this country centering around the notion that those people are messing with our oil. They have no right to raise the price of oil. They're going to destroy our way of life. Even American leaders talked about this as an attack on our way of life, and it gave, from about 1974 on, it gave a kind of legitimacy to this notion that Arabs were dangerous people and they were associated with terrorism. Go back and think of the movie Back to the Future, which came out well before 9/11. Who are the bad guys in that film? It's just, taken for granted they're Libyans. And you have this long history before 9/11 of intensely negative Arab stereotypes, which kind of mutated into viciously negative anti-Muslim stereotypes. I mean, the two notions got really mixed, and I think it's going to really take a lot of effort to get rid of that kind of bias. And, I hope that some of the things that have happened post 9/11, if anything, may shock people into examining just what an intense anti-Arab, anti-Muslim bias there's been for more than a generation, more than 2 decades in American society.